Hi, Dr. Harper. How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
I am well. So I expect a few more persons. Hi, Sandra, Francis. Hi, Diana.
Hi, Donna, with your gorgeous self. Good to see everyone.
Hi. Hello, everyone.
Hi.
Hello.
All right, so if we're recording, I think we can start because I know we have exactly 1 hour and we have to spend it wisely. So I've invited my friends. These are very, very dear friends of mine, Dr. Harper and Kirsty. I wanted to, when you find out about something that's just simply amazing, you don't want to keep it to yourself. So I'm going to start just with a simple intro that 6 months ago, I was struggling to figure out how do I lose weight? How do I keep healthy and prevent myself from getting COVID? And I've always been in the wellness space, just personally, just been very conscious of my health, making sure I eat right, that I exercise. And of course, I've tried many weight loss products. I've been a gym rat all my life. So I've never been someone who sat down and didn't work out. But about 2 years ago, and it started really about 8 years ago, I started gaining weight. Like every year I went up a few pounds or grew up a dress size and I couldn't figure it out. And I would try all kinds of different diets and I would lose it and it would come back. And sometimes it came back more than what I lost, came back on. 6 months ago, I discovered, I was searching for a probiotic and discovered a whole new world of weight loss, of keeping myself healthy, of dealing with my gut issues and all the other things that I had. And it wasn't that I was looking for a cure. And it's not that this product or this company offered a cure. This was pure serendipity. I was looking for a probiotic to resolve some gut issues I was having. And as the old adage says, food is medicine. I tried to get the probiotic and I was introduced to a whole range of products through a company called Zallevo. I discovered two very key things that I kind of never knew of autophagy, and you'll hear more about that, ladies, later. But I knew of insulin resistance because my parents, both my parents, are diabetic. So I decided to try this product, not expecting it to work. And I would go on the scale every day or every other day. And miraculously, my weight was going down on the scale every single day, to the point where I moved from wearing a size 14, 16 to a 10, 12. I'm actually more a 10 now. And I thought, so many people have been asking me, what have you been doing in my office? Everybody, what have you been doing? Now almost my entire office is doing this. And when they run out, they get upset with me. So I thought I'll invite a few of my really close friends, people, my VIPs in my world of friendship, to join me on this meeting so that I could have this information shared with them. So I have two persons here, Dr. Harper and Kirsty Cote. These are my friends, and I'm sure some others will join us later. So I'll let you know who these two persons are, and I'll hand over to Kirsty and then I think Dr. Harper, whichever order you want to take it in. But I'll start with Dr. Harper. He has been in general medicine since 1986, been devoted to the practice of traditional and complementary medicine. Dr. Harper was a student body president of his medical school. He was voted member of the American Osteopathic Association, was president of Physicians for Progressive Medicine. He was vice president for the Utah Osteopathic Association, served as a member of the Unproven Medical Practices Committee for Utah Medical Association. He has been a fellow for the Federation of State Medical Board, author of a few books, Cleansing for Life, Nature's Best Kept Secret, More Than Convinced, and Why Diets Are Failing Us. He co-authored that book, and also The Lazarus Effect. He's married for 46 plus years, almost 47 years, to beautiful Diane, and he has 3 children and 6 grandchildren. Not sure if he added a few more since I found this bio. And Kirsty is the director of labs. And by the way, Dr. Harper is the advisor to Zallevo Labs. Kirsty is the director of labs, and she has had over 18 years experience in the health and wellness business. Throughout her career, she has fulfilled multiple departments: field education, event training, research and development, sales and marketing. And she's worked with $1 million company for a billion dollar network marketing company for 17 years, where she contributed to the sales and growth of this company through educational programs, event training, and so on. She has produced more than 3,000 audios or videos. You may have seen her on YouTube. Not sure if she looks familiar to you, but she's currently attaining her nutritional coaching certification. She's an author, speaker, trainer. She has a passion for helping others to achieve their optimal health with a no compromise philosophy. She loves to empower others to see their own greatness and achieve the highest levels of success in life and in business. She's a mom of 3 beautiful and incredible adult children, Alexa, Tyler, and Zach. So ladies, and I think we're all ladies here, although I've invited a few men, I'm going to hand over to both these very eloquent and capable persons to help you understand what happens in the human body and how we can fix some of the issues that we may encounter. So I'm not sure who will go first, you, Kirsty, or Dr. Harper. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Donna. First of all, it's an honor to be here with all of you, and I know Dr. Harper feels the same. We are so excited to be able to share some information. And, you know, I think that what I could preface it with is we're here to serve. We're here to educate. And through education and knowledge, you can feel more empowered when it comes to your own health and your well-being, and potentially, you know, find something and discover something here today that can truly impact your health and well-being. I am so excited to be here with Zallevo. I've been with the company now for 2 years. And Dr. Harper joined my team, about a year ago. It's been a little over a year now. Very exciting times. Zallevo is a new company. It's this brand and this product line was launched in September of 2020. And while everybody was rolling through 2020 with potentially some challenges, we were kind of in this little bubble here, creating a company and a brand and products. And boy, I'm going to tell you, we were on a mission. And when your feet rest on the foundation of a mission for the right reasons, some pretty neat things can happen. And we are in business to change lives. And we're not in business to, distribute a marketing campaign and make a quick buck. We're here to move the needle with people's health and well-being. And I know that Dr. Harper, that was one of the things that really excited you when you first heard about Zallevo and what we were doing over here. And before we get started into our PowerPoint, Dr. Harper, if you'd like to say a few things before we get started as well.
Being with this company is really, really very nice. And the reason for that is because, as it's already been explained, they deal with nothing but the most elevated of nutritional substances to where you're getting the very best of the best throughout the entire world. But that's not so much, a lot of companies can say that. But what this company does is they also teach 12 principles like integrity and things like that, that brings to me more important value, because I see that this company is not interested in growing as a company. They're interested in growing the products, so the products will grow the company, which is a completely different way of which most companies deal. They're going out, they're constantly recruiting. No, this is a product-driven company as opposed to a sales-driven company. And that's really what I've been looking for, because I'm looking to help patients, not necessarily build anything here.
Yeah. Yeah. And, Dr. Harper, that is such an important point, that you can set out to do something, but if it's those 12 values that you just spoke of, it's nice to know that you're aligned with people who truly care, that operate at a high level of integrity, transparency, on a daily basis, not only in the professional sense, but also too in our personal lives. We've had so much fun being able to build a culture here and be able to work together. So with that, I would love to jump straight in. And what I would also invite you to do, for those that are listening in, is that if you have questions as we're moving through the presentation, because there might be a question that pops into your mind in the moment when we're talking about something specific, pop it into the chat box. And then what we'll do at the end of the presentation, then we can go back to that chat box and kind of take a look at some of those questions and get those questions answered. So with that, let me go ahead and share my screen. All right. Can everybody see that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, let me move this up here. And all right, here we go. So let's dive in. And by the way, I mean, being in the industry, boy, Dr. Harper, for you since mid 80s, for me, the last 20 years, we are facing challenges like never before. I mean, that goes without even saying. There are new diagnoses, new diseases that are showing up on the scene that we've never heard of before. We've got a lot of challenges that we're dealing with today. Dr. Harper, I'm going to have you cover the stats coming up next, but it's no surprise that on a daily basis, a lot of people move through some significant health challenges. They're overstressed. They're potentially dehydrated, undernourished, out of shape. They've got health challenges. They've got sleep challenges. Their toxic load is astronomical. They've got gut issues. They're not thinking clearly. Their memory recall could be challenged, mental acuity. There's a lot going on here. And Dr. Harper, why don't you share some of the stats from 2020?
Well, these are always amazing, but obviously the number one cause of death is heart disease. That's been around for a long time. And unfortunately, it doesn't appear to be getting a lot better. And there's reasons for that. And we can talk about those later. Second is cancer, obviously. The third is stroke. The fourth is Alzheimer's disease. Interesting that that's so high right now. And that's something else we can talk about a little later. And diabetes. As you mentioned earlier, both of your folks are diabetic. Well, let me tell you, they're not alone in this country. A whole lot of people are not only are they diabetic, but they're pre-diabetic as well. And then you have chronic lower respiratory diseases as well. So yeah, we're kind of in a world of hurt right now, and we need to be doing something to get out of it.
Mm-hmm. And then of course there's obesity. Dr. Harper, you want to share this?
I used to do a presentation many years ago showing the individual states, and as the CDC was taking stats of obesity, they would make these states a different color so that you could see the progression. We probably ought to put that up somewhere to where they can access that on a website somewhere. But it's interesting because at the beginning, they only had like the high, I think, range was 15% obesity. Now we're looking at 40% of the population. We're talking across the United States now. In some states it's higher, in other states it's a little lower. They are considered obese. So, and you got 71% of the people that are out there, the adults, that are actually just overweight by 15 to 30 pounds. Now, that's not all. If you look at the bottom, you can also see that children and teens are now becoming obese. And there's reasons behind this. And the biggest problem with that is that this is the first generation where we expect to see the children not living as long as their parents.
Mm. That's pretty crazy to even think about. And I guess my question is, why is this? You know, and we're going to get into that in just one second. I find this so interesting that just since the start of the COVID-19 pandemic, take a look at this graph on the number of individuals based on ethnicity, on how much weight has taken place and that has stacked onto their bodies on average since the pandemic. I found this slide to be incredibly interesting. So this is, you know, obesity has been something that we've been battling for decades. And it really goes into the next few slides that we're going to share. But to make matters worse, obviously, you've got a crisis that's been going on for the last couple of years that has shifted the body mass index and an increase of weight gain. One of the things that I love to talk about when it comes to why this is based on disease, illness, and obesity is obviously lifestyle. I mean, you've got poor nutrition, you've got foods that aren't grown in the garden anymore. They're in a cardboard box, they're in a package, a piece of plastic, a can. They are pre-made, easy to grab and to warm up. And unfortunately, a lot of those processed foods are void of all of the vital nutrients that your body and your cells need to operate and function properly. You've got poor gut health. You've got a lot of things that are impacting the gut, the microbiome of the gut, which is basically the bacteria world of the gut. And pretty much every facet of health and well-being pivots off your gut health. Of course, add on to that stress, lack of exercise, poor hydration and sleep, maybe the absence of fasting because maybe you don't know how to fast or it's a little scary to fast. And of course, excessive habits, whether it's alcohol, smoking, eating the wrong foods, and so on. When you combine lifestyle with environmental influences here, now, this number 2 slide here, I'm telling you, you have no control over to a certain degree. Of course, we have things in our environment. Let me back up before we continue. You've got things in your environment within your house and your household products, your cosmetics, whatever's in your shower that you're bathing with, that you're lathering with or ladening onto the body that penetrates in through the dermis, enters into the bloodstream, and has impact on your body physiologically. As a matter of fact, a fun little fact is that when you put sunscreen on your skin, your body is like a sponge. And it will go through the dermis into the bloodstream and metabolize through the liver, kidneys, and excrete out into your urine within 30 minutes. It's detectable in your urine within 30 minutes. So I love sharing that because there's no escaping some of the things in which we're exposed to, let alone lifestyle choices, right? Which whatever we're lathering on our bodies. But you've got BPA toxins. These toxins mimic estrogen within the body. They inhibit DNA repair. You have a category of toxins called PAH toxins. These are carcinogens, come from anything that burns. They set you up with an increased risk of breast cancer. You have PCBs, which have been outlawed for a very long time. However, they're still found in umbilical cord blood these days in newborn babies when they're being delivered. You can test for these. This impairs liver, immune, and nervous systems. And then there's another class of toxins called PFAS, and these are also carcinogens, cancer-causing, impairing liver, kidney, and immune system and function. And third and last but not least is the genetics. So you've got lifestyle, which is your habits and what you're doing day in and day out. You've got the environmental load that your body is taking on, whether, you know, it's invisible in the air in which we breathe or the food that we drink, the water we drink and the food we eat. But then you've got your good old fashioned genes. And this is what mom and dad blessed you with. This is your DNA blueprint. This is your predisposition on how your body is going to handle disease and illness based on what your body is moving through day in and day out with lifestyle impacts and impacting gene expression. There's something called the cycle. And this is interesting because we get up in the morning, we plant our feet on the ground, and we move through morning till night, and we go to bed and we wake up the next day and do it all over again. What's interesting is we talked about that toxic daily exposure. And when you have a healthy, pristine champion body, your champion body is I should say better equipped to take on a daily toxic load. But what happens that we find more often than not is that we see individuals with not just acute stress, which is stress on occasion, but we see people with chronic stress, which is the day in, day out stress. It could be job, it could be relationships, it could be financial stressors. When you're constantly chronically stressed day in and day out, you have little hormones that are produced that enter into the system and flow through the body to equip your body to survive that stress. Unfortunately, you've got elevated cortisol, elevated epinephrine, which is adrenaline. And when you have that chronic stress, it leads to chronic inflammatory response in the body. When you are chronically stressed and you have increased inflammation in the body, that inhibits hormone utilization and nutrient utilization. Now, why is this important? Is because obviously we eat to feed and nourish our bodies so that our cells and our bodies as a whole can operate pristinely. Our body has these beautiful glands throughout the body that secrete hormones, and these hormones are supposed to enter into the cell so that the cell can rev and charge and do its job efficiently. And of course, the nutrients coming into the body, that also feeds into cell function. But when you have elevated stress and elevated inflammatory response in the body, it impedes hormone utilization and it impedes nutrient utilization to the cell. And when that takes place, you have impaired cell function, and your body's ability to naturally detox, which takes you back to number one, slowly starts to decline. And this is what we call the cycle. It's day in and day out, that lifestyle exposure to whatever's going on, stress, increased inflammatory response, and in the end, less things getting into the cell, causing impaired cell function. Dr. Harper, anything that you want to share on this before we move on to the next slide?
One thing about the daily toxic exposure, a lot of people don't think of water as being one of those toxic exposures, but there's been over 700 chemicals identified just in drinking water, including things like Prozac, antidepressants, hormones, I mean, you name it, antibiotics, because everything that's excreted from the body, sometimes, especially in California, tends to get reused. And so we find that the water isn't as pristine as we would like it to be.
Yeah.
So your air, your water, and your foods are all daily toxic exposure.
That's right. And there is data that shows that nobody's really protected from daily toxic exposure. You could go to some of the most pristine, untouched places on the planet, and they can draw a soil sample and test for chemicals and find flame retardant in the soil. So nobody's immune. You're not going to escape it. It's just part of the equation. So obviously the cause and effect, Dr. Harper, it's pretty deep in some cases. And it's interesting because it goes back to the genes and what your genetic disposition is, because there are certain people that can funnel through life and drink like a fish and smoke 2 packs of cigarettes a day and live to be 90, and somebody else doing the exact same thing ends up succumbing to disease and illness at the age of 40. And so it's a pretty fascinating thing when it comes to your genetic disposition. Dr. Harper, I'm sure you've seen many cases where this has been the case.
I've had a lot of patients that were, in fact, I had one lady that was smoking, I think, 3 to 4 packs of cigarettes a day. And she told me her age, and I was absolutely blown away because she was only like 31 and she looked like she was 50.
Yeah.
And that's because her body was not genetically capable of dealing with that many oxidative effects on her body. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. So let's get into Zallevo. Before we continue here, I just want to, there's been a lot of new people that have stepped on to join us. So welcome. It's a pleasure to have you. As we move through the presentation, if you have any questions whatsoever, just pop them into the chat box. You've got a little chat icon on the bottom part of your screen. So you can just tap the chat box and type it in. And that at the end of our presentation, we'll kind of take a look to see what questions have come in and get those answered for you. So I just want to be very clear that Zallevo is not here to cure, treat, or prevent any kind of disease. And we're here to present some incredible master formulations that are filled with God-given nutrients that allow the body to become the miracle that it was intended to be. And let's go into the Zallevo difference. Why Zallevo? There are tens of thousands of nutritional supplements out on the market. You can walk into Costco, any big box store, any health food store, and the shelves are packed with supplements. How does one decide today what's worthy of their time and their money? And Dr. Harper, out of all of the years that you've been in practice and you've seen products come and go, you've been approached countless times on different products to be able to bring into your practice and represent. What are your thoughts on the nutraceutical space today?
It's really kind of scary. I mean, I'll just tell you a quick story. And this, I happened to hear this in a conference where this doctor was using a glucolipid. A glucolipid is something to keep your cholesterol levels down. And he found out that all of a sudden his cholesterol levels started going up. So he took a look at his 25 milligram, I think there were 25 milligrams of glucolipids. He had a mass spectrometer, so he measured them and they only had 7.5 milligrams of glucolipids in them. So he went to the health food store, he bought 5 more brands. Of the total 6 brands that he purchased, none of them had 25 milligrams of glucolipids. And 2 of them had no glucolipids at all. So it's, you have to be careful. And this is why it's so terribly important to be able to trust the person or the company that you're buying these products from. Because if you're not doing double and triple
everything that gets magic feedback
certificates of analysis, then you're not really sure what you're really getting.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's a couple of terms that are used in the industry. One of them called fairy dusting, the other called window dressing. So fairy dusting and window dressing are almost one and the same. And it's basically where a company comes out with a product. And of course, what does the consumer do? The consumer turns around, checks out the label on the backside, and they see that ashwagandha is inside of this product. And they are excited because they just read about ashwagandha being an incredible botanical, incredible adaptogen. Yet what they may not know is how much ashwagandha does it take to actually impact the body in a positive way? And what is the sourcing of the ashwagandha? How is it processed? Is it non-irradiated? Is it non-GMO? Is it grown and harvested properly? And is the extracts done properly? There is so much that goes into just one herb, one botanical, in preparing it for human consumption in a concentrated fashion. And so, of course, the consumer sees the ashwagandha, gets excited, they buy the product. They're in the product for $50, and lo and behold, what they don't know is that there's only maybe 15 or 20 grams or milligrams of ashwagandha, when really, in essence, they should be having 400 to 600 milligrams of ashwagandha. And I just use that as example. I mean, don't take into consideration that's the number of milligrams you actually need, but it's a good example of of what we call fairy dusting, or the sprinkling of something just to get it on the label so that the consumer can see it and then buy the product. And it's also called window dressing, where they will advertise and market to a specific thing just to get the consumer's attention, to get you to buy in. And then you're taking it and you don't know if you feel anything. It's kind of a placebo effect potentially. That is not what Zallevo is about. We understand this deeply. And the bottom line is that you have one life and one body, and we are driven to seek out the latest advancements in the nutraceutical space when it comes to science and nutrition, and implement that when needed right here at Zallevo. And Dr. Harper, you are one of many members of our labs team. And of course, the no compromise is just, it's incredible. I guess what I would love to ask you is, you've been asked to be a part of the scientific community in other companies, and where maybe you didn't have quite as much visibility on what's happening behind the scenes. And what can you share with everybody tonight in regards to the transparency here?
With Zallevo, I have absolutely complete access to all the formulations, as well as to the amounts of the individual ingredients that go into the products. So I'm extremely happy with that, because prior to that, I did not have that. And that was always a big concern for me. But with Zallevo, they're very open. They've given me complete access, which is really, really nice. I mean, if they didn't give me complete access, I wouldn't have gone with Zallevo. So, but yeah, it's really good. And by the way, you should tell them about the conference that you're going to.
Yes. So I'm going to be going to a huge expo that has individuals from all around the world that come together, and we discuss new innovations, new science, new materials, new raw ingredients, new processes, different types of modalities. I mean, it is a very impressive show. I cannot wait to go. I'll be going soon. And the reason why we invest in going to these things is because we want to stay up on all of the latest science that's taking place in the nutraceutical world and to bring it to you. We won't be the, pop and drop product company. We are truly devoted on all facets of health. And we will maintain very strict practices here to ensure high quality master formulations day by day, month by month, and year by year. Our master formulations focus on a lot. I mean, it's from gut health, brain health. We help to combat stress. We focus on autophagy and fasting, hydration, ketosis, which is fat burning, exercise, and of course, nutrition and macros. Dr. Harper, why don't you share with them the two types of days? Because it's pretty simplistic here at Zallevo. We don't like to complicate things. And of course, everything is customizable.
It's pretty simple. What we're looking at on the ultra days is where you're using the shakes twice a day, and then you're having a moderate lunch, 400 to 600 calorie lunch. And then on the burn days, you're not consuming anything except water, and you can use burn mode, which is designed to help your body deal with this time when you're fasting. And we generally recommend that you go at least 2 days in the burn days. I mean, if you can only do one, that's great. But the best idea is to get into 2 days, because autophagy, which is where your body starts to take the individual cells in your body and starts recycling everything, starts to create a cell that functions better. And so that generally starts at 24 hours. And in 36 hours, it goes up by about 300%. So that second day is really critical. Okay. And so those are the 2 different days.
Yes. And let's take a look at this. This is a fun timeline to give everybody a visual of what you were just talking about when you go into fasting. And here's the thing is there's people where when you say I'm stepping away from food and the dinner table, really, I don't know if I can do that. But the bottom line is we, like Dr. Harper said, we've created some incredible tools for you to be able to consume that go into the body and help the body as you're moving into that state of autophagy. And autophagy, I remember, Dr. Harper, the first time that you explained autophagy to a grouping of people, and that was, you know what, the way you can look at autophagy is the body remodeling from the inside out. Yep. And it's this very special phase that the body can access. It's been around since the time of man began. And because of modern science, we've put a name to this phase, and we know exactly what's going on physiologically in the body. And it's a huge reset where the body goes after those dysfunctional cells and devours and breaks them down, recycles some of those cell components and eliminates what it cannot recycle and use. But you can see that increased human growth hormone happens. Autophagy increases after 36 hours. Do you have to go 48 hours? No. I mean, listen, you do what works best for you. And we provide this timeline so that you know physiologically what's taking place inside of your body, so you can set your goal the next time you fast. But it's really about, allowing your body that space to move into autophagy. What's also interesting about autophagy is that babies, when they're born, they're in autophagy 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, constantly remodeling their body because their bodies are growing and building. And the older we get, the slower that this autophagy process takes place, to where by the time we are adults, boy, guys, you've got to ask for it. You have to get on schedule and ask for it and move into this phase yourself. And that requires no eating and just moving into some good fasting here. I want to back up because I skipped through some of the slides here. So that was fasting. Those are burn days. Ultra days, as Dr. Harper mentioned, it's where you're feeding and nourishing your body. You've got Ultra 30 shakes, whether it's plant-based or whey-based. And then we recommend whole, healthy foods, good fats, good protein, wonderful vegetables, and to feed and nourish your body. So let's go ahead and move on beyond this and jump into, oh, I love this one too. This one kind of shows a little bit what Dr. Harper, you mentioned about structuring your month. You can separate out your fasting days. You can double up and move through fasting for 48 hours, but you get to select what works best for your activity and your schedule. Just real quick, for anybody that's just joining us, if you could just mute out your line as we are recording, that would be very helpful. Thank you, and welcome, by the way, welcome. All right, so let's go in and meet the master formulations. Dr. Harper, why don't you kick us off with the Ultra 30 full spectrum meal replacement shakes?
Okay, these are great shakes. Whenever you're looking to increase muscle mass in your body or to start getting nutritionally dense products into your body, you start looking at the Ultra 30. And the Ultra 30 contains they're a complete meal replacement, which means they have to qualify to do that. In other words, you can literally call it a complete meal replacement because of the qualifications, because of the ingredients that are in there, and because we're watching what the government is requiring. And so you replace the meals with these. They're very good. Oh my gosh. If you've ever had a vegan shake, they're disgusting. Okay. Our plant-based formula is
you
really,
can speak
really
to
good.
this, right?
What?
Doneth can speak to this because she's vegan. Yes.
Oh,
The vegan shake is the best I've ever tasted. They
Yes.
all taste nasty, but this is delicious.
oh yeah. I used to have a closet full of shakes because I was looking for a good plant-based shake. I couldn't find one. And when I tasted Zallevo, I went, holy smokes, this is great.
Yes.
Compared to everything else. And so now the flavor is not what we sell. Okay, we sell the ingredients in the shakes. It's just that because we do such a good job with flavoring, they also really taste good.
That's right.
I mean, if you're looking at the whey-based shakes, oh my gosh, the chocolate, it's like chocolate milk. I mean, and yet it's got 30 grams of protein in it. Both of them have 30 grams of protein in it. So, and the important part with the whey-based is it's an isolate, okay? Now you get a lot of people that talk about concentrates, and a lot of companies use concentrates. Well, the biological value of whey concentrate is about 100 5. The biological value of whey isolate is about 150. So you can see a tremendous difference between the concentrate and the isolate. And it's also, New Zealand is very, very critical because we want to get it as pure as we possibly can. No heavy metals, no pesticides, no extra hormones, nothing like that. And so that's why we get them from New Zealand.
And then, of course, the plant-based, amazing.
Yes. You've got essentially 3 things. Well, 4 things. I forgot the pumpkin. You got pumpkin seed, brown rice, chickpea, and yellow pea. Now, the pea is what gives it that texture. And some people don't like the texture, but like Donna knows, this is a great tasting shake. So with the whey, well, you've got all kinds of things here now.
Yeah, and without getting into too much detail, here's what I would probably love to say about the shakes, is that if your goal is to lose weight and burn fat and to achieve a champion body, and I'm not talking a bodybuilder body here, maybe it is, right? Who knows, right? One of the things that is the secret to all of this is increasing your nutrient load and feeding that body, feeding those cells, providing the building blocks that your body can use to build and structure a lean, gorgeous body. But at the same time, while you're increasing those nutrients, you can decrease your calorie load. And when you can do that in increasing nutrients and decreasing calorie load, your body will step into a state of fat burning, and you will now then transition and source to stored energy and stored fat on your body and burn through that. And it's incredible what happens here. So along with healthy prepared meals and Ultra 30 shakes, you can design your days to where you're feeding and nourishing your body and you're not going into any kind of state of deprivation or starvation because you're trying to cut calories. Because let's face it, cutting calories isn't necessarily the ticket all the time. You've got to ensure that you're getting minerals and trace minerals and all of your essential natural vitamins. And of course, incredible proteins, as Dr. Harper just talked about. And by the way, our shakes and other formulations are sweetened with a unique new sweetener. It's all natural and it's created from sugarcane, all natural sugarcane. And they grow these gorgeous sugarcane crops in Brazil and cut the stalks, bring them into manufacturing, submerge them in purified water, add kosher yeast, and that yeast will go in and devour the carbohydrate load of the sugarcane, leaving in its aftermath this super sweet juice that we then filter, condense down, and put it into powder form. And we're one of just 3 companies that are using it in the nutraceutical space right now. You're going to be seeing more and more of it, but it tastes like table sugar with 0 aftertaste, unlike stevia. So you will be so delighted with the flavor. So next is burn mode. And this is so you've got ultra days and you've got shakes and meals going into the body. And then of course, on burn days, you're going to be utilizing burn mode. Burn mode is an absolute incredible fasting aid. It has lots of incredible benefits that assist your body during fasting, supporting detoxification, helping you move into that state of autophagy that we talked about before. If you're just joining us, if you could mute your line, that would be wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you every single day.
There we go. I think I got it. Supports liver.
Darcy, what you could do, make me a co-host and I'll mute persons when they come in. So it's not so distracting, please.
Okay, hang on one second. It's saying to make you a host. I don't want to make you a host. It doesn't give me the option of making you a co-host.
Right. Okay, no problem.
Okay, so supports liver health, immune health, healthy blood sugar. This is a product that comes in little stick packs, just like this. And you take one every 4 hours during your fasting days. empty it into water. You can do a little water, you can do a lot of water. I had mine in this entire bottle of water today with burn mode and a few of our other supplements. It tastes amazing. But it's filled with all kinds of botanicals, from astazine, astaxanthin, milk thistle, burdock, dandelion, lemon balm, ginger, blueberry. It's loaded with minerals and trace minerals, some very important amino acids for cell regeneration. It's absolutely amazing. Aloe vera. So it's very nutritious, but it doesn't awaken the digestive system, which is incredibly important for this. Now, there's one botanical I want to focus on that is within burn mode. And this is why we say that no matter if you're fasting or you're not, take 1 stick of burn mode every single day, because the antioxidant load is so profound that it has an antioxidant score, if anybody's familiar with antioxidant scores, of 2.8 million per stick. And we're excited about a cup of organic blueberries coming in at 7,000 in ORAC, right? Can you imagine 2.8 million in an ORAC score? So should you take burn mode every day whether you're fasting or you're not? Absolutely, I do. This one material has been clinically studied, where these studies have been published, that shows that it reduces oxidative stress, which is basically cell damage, lipid peroxidation, which is, again, rapid cell damage. So it is really designed to impact total health and well-being from head to toe. Pretty exciting stuff. Next is Uvb. And Dr. Harper, why don't you take this one?
Well, a lot of people are always looking for a little energy. As a matter of fact, I'm one of those people. So when I get up in the morning, what I do is I take...
Dr. Harper, you there? Dr. Harper? Donna, can you hear Dr. Harper?
Oh, no, I'm not hearing him. He
Okay.
lost his audio.
Yeah. Oh, we lost Dr. Harper. Well, okay, he'll probably join us. Let me pick up where he left off. Uvb, energy drink. This is a huge industry. Why are we in this space? Is it because of money, or are we speaking to the body because people are down and out on energy? If you take a look at the energy products out on the market, things that come in a can, there's so many unhealthy ingredients that go into the body. And if you're down and out on energy, ask yourself, why is that? Is it because your cells are needing specific nutrients? Maybe you're overstressed, you're tired, you didn't sleep good the night before. With Uvb, it provides you specific nutrients that actually move into the body, that feed into cell energy and cell health, igniting the energy within the cells. And the results are amazing. Welcome back, Dr. Harper.
I don't know what happened.
I know. We lost your audio, and then all of a sudden it stopped. So I'm glad you made it back on. I'll finish up.
That it lasts for about 8 hours, right?
Yes.
6 to 8 hours.
6 to 8 hours. Do you want to take it from here?
Oh, it's just that normal caffeine, it has a very short half-life, so you have a very rapid upswing and a very rapid decrease. Whereas with the guarana, which is a different type of caffeine, it's a slow, gradual increase, a steady state, and then a slow, gradual reduction. So don't take it late in the afternoon.
Right. And it's loaded with all kinds of incredible nutrients to feed and nourish the cell in those downturns of energy. If you're going to put anything in your body, my goodness, this is going to be an incredible formulation. And I mix it every day with 1 stick of burn mode. I combine these two along with one other formulation, which we'll talk about in a second. One of the ingredients that I want to point out in the Uvb is the apple phenol and apple polyphenols. This is an incredible ingredient. Again, clinically studied. It shows that it decreases bad cholesterol, increases fat burning, helps to improve glucose management, and of course has benefits to lung health, oral health, and skin health. Can you imagine? Head to toe again. All right, next, Dr. Harper, why don't you take Fortitude? This is an outstanding formulation.
Okay, the Fortitude 85 is essentially an adaptogenic formula. And to understand what adaptogens are, and I don't know how many of you are old enough to remember, but in the 70s, in the early 80s, the Russians were powerhouses in the Olympics, and they were beating everybody. And we couldn't understand why. It was because it was a Russian secret. They were actually feeding adaptogenic herbs to their athletes. Well, after the 80s, it kind of became available to everybody. And so all of a sudden they lost their standing. But these adaptogenic herbs help your body deal with any kind of stress. Okay. That's the thing that they found out. That's why they're called adaptogens, because they adapt to whatever condition you're involved with. And so it helps support weight loss, balanced mood, support, well, I hate to say this, but supports libido, okay, supports energy, endurance, and supports cardiovascular health. It's essentially kind of an all-around take care of your body formulation.
Yeah, I love that. And of course, the ingredients are amazing. Remember at the beginning of our presentation tonight, we talked about fairy dusting with ashwagandha. Boy, there's no fairy dusting here, let me tell you. Not only do we vet all of the raw materials intensely before we make a decision to bring them into a formulation, but we choose the best. We choose the most potent. A lot of our ingredients are patented, and you'll see with the registered trademarks here that come with clinical studies. So a lot of gorgeous herbs here, vitamins, minerals, trace minerals. There are a couple of different ingredients in here that I want to point out, and that being the ashwagandha. This ashwagandha is incredibly unique. It comes with 14 double-blind clinical studies on this one material, and it has been clinically proven to reduce overall stress by 62%. Remember how we talked about in the beginning, the cycle, right? The cycle of stress leading to inflammatory response and body's inability to function optimally. Ashwagandha has been clinically proven to dovetail into that to assist the body in helping to reduce fatigue by 53%, lower cortisol level by up to 4 times. And also too, lower CRP levels, which are inflammatory biomarkers. You can actually draw your blood and measure CRP levels, and it's been shown to reduce those as well. Also, the ability to fall asleep by 67%, increase nitric oxide and glutathione naturally. People are looking to supplement with nitric oxide or beet juice, and also take glutathione. But the best forms of nitric oxide and glutathione are those in which are produced naturally in your body. So to feed and nourish your body with specific nutrients that ignite the production of that naturally, that's where it's at, guys. That is where it's at. And the other one that I would love to highlight is the amla berry. And Dr. Harper, do you want to take this one?
Well, once again, it's got 8 clinical studies. You can read the slide right along with me, but the reduced lipid peroxidation, this is very important because lipid peroxidation is what takes place when you have cell death, okay? So when your cells die, they rupture, they spill everything out into your bloodstream, and what happens then is you end up increasing your lipid peroxidation. So anything that reduces lipid peroxidation is also reducing cellular death. So that's really important to understand. And oxidative stress, we've talked about oxidation. Your bodies are constantly rusting. And so you have to have these antioxidants in your body to prevent that. And the glutathione was one of the major detoxifying ingredients in for your liver. So you got to have that. If you don't have it, you're going to be in a world of hurt.
That's right. And again, it goes back to the toxic load on a daily basis. Love that. Way to point that one out too. Next is the Biome Sync Daily. There are 2 gut support formulations here, both of which are very different. Daily supports the body from head to toe, not only just the gut and digestive health, but cognitive health, brain health. You have bacteria that lives in you and on you. Interestingly enough, there are specific strains of bacteria that live in your mouth all the time that, if there's a good balance, will actually help to fight cavities. Same with respiratory health. You've got bacteria within the lung tissue that really lends to good lung health as well as immune health. This is a powerful formulation, comes in a very high-tech bottle that you don't have to refrigerate your formulation. So you just, as long as it's in the bottle, it is preserved beautifully for your entire 30-day supply. And of course, we won't go through all of the strains because that's just a little too much detail, but let's move on to Biome Sync Trim. And this is a totally different formulation. Dr. Harper, why don't you take this one?
Well, it's interesting because this one has taken bacterial strains that have been actually shown in mice to reduce fat, which is kind of cool. And you've got to understand, and we kind of bypass this really quickly, but you have your brain, and then we found out that, oh, there's more serotonin in your gut than there is in your brain. So then we determined that the gut was the secondary brain. Now that we're determining that the bacteria that's living inside of our digestive system is actually the third brain, because it secretes so many substances that actually influences our bodies. So it's very, very important to have a really good biome in your digestive system. If you don't, you're going to be sick.
Yeah, that's a really good point too. You're right. It used to be thought that, of course you want good brain health because there is serotonin that is produced in the brain, but the majority of the serotonin being produced in the gut. As a matter of fact, it's about 80% of serotonin is produced in the gut. And serotonin is your happy, feel good hormone that makes you feel just happy and not down in the dumps, so to speak. So the Biome Sync Trim is incredible. It's been proven to help to reduce visceral fat and total body fat mass. And then last but not least, guys, so we're a young company. We've got 10 formulations now, and we are feverishly working on more, which is very exciting. I cannot wait for you guys to see what else is to come. But this is our newest master formulation, and that would be Collagen 300. And I'll kick us off, Dr. Harper, on what collagen is. Collagen, bottom line is, it is a source of protein. Your sourcing of collagen, it's going to come from 3 locations: chicken, marine, or bovine, which is cow. So in chicken, it's chicken feet, it's chicken sternum. With marine collagen, you're looking at fish skin. With bovine, you're looking at all sorts of parts of a cow that's used for collagen extraction there. The most beneficial and bioavailable to the human body by far, without question, is marine collagen. So if you're looking for a collagen, marine collagen is the absolute best source possible. And then, of course, I'll take this one too, Dr. Harper. Then, of course, there's a lot of companies out there that have collagen supplements, and they're marketing to type 1, type 2, type 3, type 5. How do you know what to take? The most important type of collagen that you could ever ingest is type 1 collagen, because it comprises 90% of all of the collagen found intermingled throughout your human body. So when you're really looking at sourcing and the type, you want marine and you want type 1. And then next, and most importantly, Dr. Harper, why don't you take these next slides?
Well, proline, glycine, and hydroxyproline are 3 amino acids, and they tend to produce this strand or this of collagen. And this collagen may have 3,000 amino acids hooked together that produces. And I want to just talk about collagen a little bit before we even get any farther with this.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
in the Greek word, it comes from the Greek word meaning glue. Okay. Now, why would they do that? And the reason for that is if you take everything out of your body except the collagen, you would still have a body that you could identify as your body. It would still be standing there, okay? Because it's essentially the matrix upon everything else is hung on, so to speak. So it's extremely important. And with these strands, they're about 3,000 amino acids long, and they're composed, 50% of it is proline, hydroxyproline, and glycine.
Okay. And when you take a look at collagen in general, it's all about the size. Size of the collagen molecules matter the most. And here's how I describe it to my kids. Imagine a big bowl of Skittles, and each Skittle represents different amino acids. Now we saw that the three most important are proline, hydroxyproline, and glycine, right? But imagine this big bowl of Skittles. Instead of these Skittles being loose together in the bowl, imagine them being glued together in one big ball and mass, okay? That's a collagen molecule. If you can figure out how to break these Skittles apart and creating smaller little submolecules, that's the ticket. And that's what we have done here with our collagen, is we've gone in and selected the green, yellow, and blue ones, let's say, right? And we've purged those out of this massive ball of collagen. And it's done through natural God-given enzymes. Now, the process in which we can actually break up these peptides or these amino acids is quite interesting. It's patented science, and but it's all enzyme functioning and produced. So you can take a massive collagen molecule and break it down into microscopic forms. And that would be in comparison to regular collagen bundle being the size of a watermelon, not in real life, let's face it. But this gives you an idea visually of how small we're talking here, all the way down to a tiny little sesame seed in comparison to a ginormous watermelon, which is pretty profound. And what does this even mean? Why are we even concerned about the molecule size? It's because we want it to be able to get into the body. And Dr. Harper, share with everybody what we're looking at here when it comes to benefits.
Well, just about everything in your body. I mean, your skin, hair, nails, bones, joints, cartilage, digestive health, connective tissue. We've already talked about connective tissue a lot. Cardiovascular health. Actually, with the collagen, we've also seen that you seem to change the composition of your body as well as reduce inflammation, which is kind of a, wow, what's going on here? Because it's just, there's these three little amino acids. You're wondering, how are they able to do all these things? And it's just because of the fact that collagen functions in so many areas of our body. And that's why. So, and did you mention the tripeptide yet?
The tripeptides? No, just the concentrated, smaller molecule.
Okay, well, a lot of companies are selling collagen, okay? My daughter has bought a collagen. She says, I have not seen anything happen except it's kept me regular. And more than likely it's because she is using very large collagen fibers, and you just can't absorb those. You have to break them down through digestive processes to get them small enough to where you can actually absorb them. And with the tripeptide that we use, they're almost instantly absorbed because they're so small.
Yes.
They're so small that they just pass right through the cellular membrane with ease, as opposed to having these big fibers.
Yes, absolutely. It not only features the marine collagen, the small molecule marine collagen, but also hyaluronic acid, vitamin A, C, E, biotin, B vitamin, trace minerals in the form of zinc and copper, as well as a delivery system. It's a profound formulation. It is patented. It is a total body approach. There is no digestion that's needed. It comes with clinical studies, which is so exciting. And these studies have revealed a lot. Dr. Harper, why don't you take this slide?
Well, as you can see the absorption of other collagen peptides, which is in the black, and then you can see the Moricol. And the Moricol is going higher, and as you can see, lasts longer. So you have 15 times more compared on the retention time. So, and that's really important as well, along with the vitamin C that we're adding in there, because if you don't have vitamin C, you can't produce collagen. And so keeping the vitamin C in there along with collagen on a longer basis is what you need to produce those collagen fibers.
Sure. And then next is after 12 weeks of ingesting the specific collagen, the participants saw 3 times increased hydration in the skin, 2 times reduced roughness in the skin, 10 times reduction of visible fine lines, wrinkles, and crow's feet, and 6 times better elasticity in the skin. Now, these are visual overall results. However, what we do know is that there's a lot of things working internally within the body as well when it comes to joints, tendons, ligaments. We did a pilot study with Collagen 300, and the results are amazing. We are working on the final details of publishing the statistics and the data on that, so stay tuned on that one. But there's also UVB protection. Can you imagine taking a collagen that is actually going to protect your skin against damaging effects of UVB exposure? It's very exciting. I want to skip through these really quick because we're not going to focus on these.
It's important to say that all these things are critically important to producing collagen.
Absolutely. Liposome technology and lavender lemonberry is the flavor. And, you know, we wanted to show you some before and afters. And as I shouldn't say before and afters in total, but check out what happens when you're on Collagen 300 in just 2 weeks. The visual reduction in pore size.
Can I go straight up?
There we go. I just muted her. Okay. Next is a set of hands that I am just blown away. Again, this is 2 weeks. And she was not in the sun, but take a look at the coloration of her skin. She has better circulation and blood flow and a healthier look to her skin overall, as well as reduction of that puffy look, especially around the knuckles, reduction in wrinkles and fine lines. We were so excited to see this. Now, this was during the study. Dr. Harper?
This is only 2 weeks.
2 weeks. Yeah. Next is a participant, and the areas in which I want to point out is after 4 weeks, and she is 77. I think she's almost 78. But check out just the reduction of her wrinkles on her forehead here and here, as well as around the sides of her mouth. In the softening of that. We were very excited. Her after photos are fantastic. We just haven't published them yet. After 4 weeks, lessening of pigmentation on the forehead, you can see that. We loved this participant's photo because you can see that she had surgery here. She had a scar, but that scar is softening and becoming less deep on the neck. So we love the results there. And then last but not least, the one I wanted to show you tonight was this one. This one was so impressive to us in many, many ways. Not only can you see just all of her hyperpigmentation on her forehead, her nose, her cheeks, you can see in this 8-week photo how much different her skin and the texture of her skin looks. She looks glowy and dewy in her 8-week photo. Check out just on her chin alone, right below her lower lip, in the size of pore reduction in comparison to her 8-week photo. And then this little dot on the side of her right cheek here, I thought it was a birthmark, and it wasn't. It's a ruptured capillary, and she's been to their dermatologist to try to have this resolved. And of course, this is the first time that she saw any progress in that ruptured capillary shifting and changing. So we were just thrilled with the results here. And with that, let me stop sharing. And let's move into a little bit of a wrap up and check out the chat box and see what we've got going on for questions. And then, of course, if you have any questions, feel free to unmute your line and ask away as we're just closing out and wrapping up tonight. Let's see. How do you determine the amount of protein that we need daily? Doneth, I love this question. We are all about customization. So Zallevo provides incredible macronutrients, micronutrients. Clearly someone who weighs 100 pounds that is more sedentary is going to require less protein in a day than someone who might be of large stature and incredibly athletic. And so we have a beautiful formulation that we can give to you so that you can figure out based on your activity level and your body mass how to calculate that out. For some of you, it might be 80 grams of protein per day. For others, it might be 180 grams of protein per day. So whatever your gram load is in the day, then that's what guides you in structuring your day on how many shakes should you have. Should you have a 1 scoop shake, a 2 scoop shake? Do you want one shake or even 2 shakes a day? Salmon, eggs, lentils, nuts, seeds, those kinds of things as well when you're bringing those into the diet. So we can help to customize your schedule so that you get the right components going into your body based on your individual needs. That way you feel satiated, you feel fired up, you've got great energy, and you're doing it right.
And the water. We definitely want to recommend and at least half your body weight in water daily,
Yep.
No less than 64 ounces a day. So that's really very, very important as well.
And good quality water too, as you
yes.
mentioned earlier. Yep. Let's see, what are some of the 4 to 8 week weight loss feedbacks from using the product? Wow, it's incredible. Here's one thing I can share with you is that every person that we get on Zallevo, the first thing we tell them before their collection arrives in the mail is to get a smart scale. Amazon has them. You can get them for $28. And the smart scales are basically scales that you set in your bathroom, don't move them. And when you step on them, it'll read your hydration, your body fat percentage, your bone density, your visceral fat number. And it's fascinating because we are so confident in these formulations doing their magic inside of the body that you get to track your results. It's not just about pounds anymore. It's about not only pounds, but inches, and also what's happening inside of the body. How is your body taking these nutrients and rebuilding with them? You'll see an increase of lean mass development, potential increase of bone density. All kinds of things can shift and happen in the body. So we definitely recommend getting yourself a smart scale so that you can track. We have people that are down 65 pounds. We have people that are down 85 pounds. We have people that are down 40 pounds, 35 pounds, 17 pounds. We have people that weigh the same, but are down 2 pant sizes. What does that tell you about body mass shifting, right, Dr. Harper?
Composition.
Yep.
And see, the weight to me, the weight is pretty much unimportant. The body composition is what keeps you healthy. And so I've seen people that were 200 pounds and you thought, oh my gosh, we're in trouble here. No, their body composition was extremely good. They had a lot of muscle mass. And I've seen people that were 105 pounds. Their body composition was very, very bad. It was mostly fat. So you want to have good muscle mass in your body. So that composition is more important than the weight.
Yeah. And Donna, you just shared in the chat box, she was down 20 pounds after 8 weeks, but you weren't super aggressive about it, right? No.
Oh, but the fasting was what helped. The fat after the fast, I think I lost 11 pounds.
It's amazing.
So that, right. So I did more than the 48 hours, even though you guys said 48.
No, you can fast. You can fast beyond 48 hours as long as you're feeling good, you know?
Yes.
Mhm.
So I did a 3-day fast.
You can go up to 5 days and it will continue.
And
okay, the autophagy will continue, but then it drops after about 5 days a little bit.
right. So 11 of it was during the fast and the rest came off. But I wasn't even doing it right. The rest of it came after I had a house guest and we started replacing 2 meals with a shake, but she lost 21 pounds. She came here a size 12 and left a size 6. So now everybody wants to come and spend some time with me at my house.
Oh, I love it. Donna has the get healthy paradise going on. I love it. That's great. The next question is, any feedback on cognitive health improvement? And the answer is yes. I love this question. When your body is toxic, When you are overloaded, believe it or not, the brain can become bogged down. You can have debris that can build up in your neurotransmitters inside of your brain, which are the pathways that run between neuroresponse. And if those get clogged and bogged down, you better believe cognition will slow, memory recall will be impaired. And when you can open up the brain and allow the brain to de-junk properly, which is what fasting and autophagy does, with the assistance of all of these incredible nutrients, the brain becomes sharp. I think my favorite story on this is our founder, Brandon Broadwater, when he embarked on all of these master formulations right out of the gate, he could not get over how his mental acuity stepped up, and he felt invincible, to be quite honest. So it's very exciting to see that cognitive health improve dramatically. So you can expect some really fun things there.
I don't remember. You may have said the Fortitude is 85, but because I know the products already, I probably didn't, that didn't register. But this is brain food.
Yes.
Brain fog, memory, improved memory, amazing. So if you get nothing else, I would recommend that you get the Fortitude 85 for your mental clarity.
Yep, I love it. There are such incredible results that we're seeing with people doing one shake a day and the Fortitude 85, or one shake a day and the Biome Sync daily. We're seeing results with people that are doing 2 shakes a day and 1 stick of burn mode. I think that it's really about what you feel you are going to embrace, love, and be able to implement with ease. And of course, Doneth and the rest of the team here, we're all here to assist and to help out in any way possible. So any last questions before we close out tonight? I think we addressed everything in the chat box. Okay, doesn't look like we have any other questions. It's been an absolute pleasure being here with everybody.
Yes.
You guys are incredible. Thank you so much for taking time out of your evening tonight to be on and to listen in and to learn. And knowledge is power. And this, I hope you guys were able to learn some things to feel more empowered. And we would love to welcome you into our Zallevo family. And as mentioned before, we're here to assist, help, answer any questions that you may have. And of course, Doneth is your girl. She's an incredible, powerful health coach and leader here at Zallevo and can help you with getting set up. And of course, we're just here to support in the wings. So anything else that anybody would like to share, Doneth or Dr. Harper?
I will share, just reach out to me and I will share the link for you to place your order. And the first person to place an order, I have a free burn mode for you. I'll know who because I'll see the order coming through. So I'll have a free burn mode added to your order if you're the first person to order after this meeting. So reach out to me after and I'll tell you exactly how to place your order.
That's exciting. Hey, and one last thing. This is not only do you need to get your scale on Amazon. If you don't have a smart scale, get one, because you can actually have the smart scales Bluetooth to your phone and graph out your weight and your hydration and all kinds of things. But do yourself a favor and take your before photos. Even if you never share them with anybody, I promise you it's going to blow your mind. Make sure that you are in a well-lit area where you can see details on your beautiful faces. I would suggest taking a picture of your body. You can set your camera up on a tripod, do it in a mirror. You can have someone help you, but we cannot emphasize that enough, is to take before photos, because the results that you will see in a very short period of time are going to be so exciting and will keep you motivated and moving forward. So with that, thank you so much, Donna, for setting all of this up and for your leadership. We so appreciate you. And Dr. Harper, thank you for being with us as well tonight.
My pleasure.
Right. So thank you so much. I thank both of you. Before I close out, I want to recognize my personal trainer who is on the line, Sharad, and he can attest to the fact that I work out really hard. I mean, I would be going at full guns and I just would not lose weight. It was just so stubborn. He couldn't understand. My husband, who's also on the line, couldn't figure it out because I eat a quarter of what he eats, and he has 7% body fat. So I would tell him he's eating and I'm gaining the weight. And it wasn't until I added Zallevo to my routine that I really saw results. People would think, I remember my sister saying, how comes you're vegan and you have on so much weight? And I felt so embarrassed. And I was like, my weight is not food. My weight was not because I was eating the wrong food. I was drinking sodas. I eat clean, much cleaner than my husband. He'll get up in the middle of the night and eat ice cream and all that kind of stuff. And I'm so disciplined, I will tell him, no, thank you. So for him, it was surprising. And for my trainer as well, it was surprising that I still had on that much weight. And it wasn't until I got these wonderful formulations into my body that I started to see results. And so I'm happy to share it with you guys, my VIP friends. I did not want to keep it a secret because I know everybody sees me and like, what are you doing? So I thought, why not call a meeting and share it with you? So with that said, I want to thank you, Dr. Harper and Kirsty Cody, for being here and for sharing with my wonderful friends.
Oh, it's been
Thank
a
you
pleasure.
so much.
Absolutely.
It's been a
All
pleasure.
right.
Thanks, everybody. Have a wonderful rest of your evening.
Good night.
Okay, so I'll send you guys the link and thank you so much for coming.
Good night, everybody.
Bye.